You probably used it like 20 times before your morning coffee today, but you'd be hard-pressed to explain exactly how it works. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we are looking at the notes you sent us on Mastering the Present Simple, a daily grammar guide, to really understand the foundational engine of everyday English.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, I mean, it's easy to just dismiss grammar as dry,
Yeah.
but this specific tense is essentially the default operating system of human communication.
Right, it's always running.
Exactly. It runs silently in the background, managing the grounding elements of life. We use it exclusively for our daily routines, habits, facts, and general truths.
It's not the flashy active programs pulling your attention then, it's just the background processes keeping the machine running. And the basic structure is incredibly clean, like a simple, foolproof recipe. Subject, verb in its first form, object. You say who is acting, the action, and the receiver. Like, I play cricket.
Right. It's hyper efficient. But English demands a very specific signal when you shift perspective to the third person singular, the he, she, or it. Suddenly, I play becomes he plays. The language forces you to flag that you are talking about a single external entity.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Why do some verbs randomly get an S or ES tacked onto the end? I mean, go becomes goes, wash becomes washes. Why the extra baggage?
Well, what's fascinating here is the mechanics behind that spelling rule. If a base verb ends in sounds like O, SH, CH, SS, or X, you literally cannot pronounce a standard S at the end without sounding like a snake.
Oh, wow, wait.
Yeah, the language adds ES to force an extra syllable. It's an engineered buffer to make the words physically easier to speak.
Wait, so it's less about strict grammatical logic and entirely about the physical laziness of the human mouth. We just didn't want to trip over our own tongues.
Pretty much. The grammar adapted to human anatomy, not the other way around.
That makes so much sense. But okay, that's a clean formula for stating facts. Since we've mastered stating them, the logical next step is exploring how to deny them or ask about them. How does this operating system handle negatives and questions?
So this is where English introduces helper verbs, specifically do and does. In a lot of languages, you just slap a no in front of the verb. English is weirder.
Yeah, it always is.
Right. It uses these helper verbs as a sort of structural support. To make a negative, you insert do or does plus not before the verb, like she does not play cricket. And for questions, you pull that helper verb to the absolute front of the sentence. Does he work here?
Okay, wait, hold on. So if I use does, the main verb goes back to the first form without the S. That feels like a classic beginner trap.
Oh, it totally is. It's the most common glitch in the system. Think of the does as a sponge. It has already absorbed that S or ES signal for the third person.
Oh, so you don't need to signal it twice.
Exactly. The helper verb absorbs the grammatical tension so the main verb can stay in its basic relaxed state.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us when we're trying to spot this tense in the wild or, use it perfectly? Are there cheat codes?
The source material outlines some incredible cheat codes, actually, the signal words. Words like always, usually, every day, sometimes, never, and often.
Right.
These aren't just adjectives. They are giant neon signs pointing straight to the present simple tense because they inherently describe frequency and habit.
I love that. You hear always, and you just know a habitual background process is being described. So for you listening, here is your ultimate memory shortcut. If you are discussing a daily routine, a habit, or a fact, you are operating in the present simple.
This raises an important question, though, about how we wield this tool. Notice how easily a single signal word completely shifts the reality of a general truth.
Oh, absolutely. I sometimes wake up early. I always wake up early. Isn't just a grammar tweak. It completely alters the identity you're broadcasting to the world. You're manipulating the fact.
Yeah, the language gives you the power to frame subjective habits as objective facts. The grammar is simple, but the psychological weight it carries is, well, it's profound.
Totally. I challenge you to pay attention to the signal words you use today. What realities are you constructing with your always and your nevers? Just something to mull over the next time you boot up that default operating system of everyday conversation.